compositions.
More. I love when you use the calculator.
Or compositions. And I'm going to jump right into an example. Most of this, some of this will be review, some of it will not. First example.
Are you live?
I am live, yes. F of x equals, let's do 3x minus 4. That's the function that I give you, f of x. Review first. What I would like you to do is just quickly calculate f of 2. What is f of 2? What are you going to do, I guess is my question. What do you have to do? Yep. In other words, I have to take that 2 and do what to it?
Distribute.
Put it in for x.
Put it in.
Put it in for x. So I'm going to rewrite the equation, the function. I'm going to replace x with 2. So we have 3 times 2 minus 4. 3 times 2 is 6. Minus 4 is 2. What about f of 0? Put a 0 in for x. You have 3 times 0 minus 4. 3 times 0 is 0. Minus 4 is negative 4. All right. What about this? What is f of a?
3a minus 4.
Yeah, all you do is replace the x with an a. So here you replace the x with a 2. Here you replace the x with a 0. So when you do this one, you just have to replace the x with an a. So you're going to have 3 times a minus 4. So that a gets substituted in. What is 3 times a? 3a. You don't know what a is, so you can't actually multiply them. So you actually just write it down as though you would multiply them. So it's 3a minus 4. Not so bad. What about this though? What if I ask you to calculate f of 2t? F of 2t, what are you going to do?
Plug it up.
You're gonna plug it up? What do you do?
Put it in.
Let's put it in for x. Rewrite the equation again.
Plug it
So
up.
you're going to have 3, instead of an x, you're going to replace x with a 2t minus 4. What is 3 times 2t? It's 6t. So you're going to have 6t,
Nice, you did it.
No,
6.
6t
Six.
minus 4.
Come on, score.
You guys stop, okay? You know that.
You know that.
no, you said this.
All right, what about this? F of, let's do x plus 2. F of x plus 2. So you rewrite the function, but instead of writing x, you're going to write what? X plus 2. So you're going to do f, which is 3 times x plus 2 minus 4. Please, please, please make sure you're careful with the parentheses when you distribute in. You're going to go 3 times x, and you're going to do 3 times 2. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 2 is 6 minus 4. What is 3x plus 6 minus 4? 3x plus 2. I have one more example to show you. A little bit more complicated than this one. Not too bad though. Are you okay with what I did?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm teaching to you right now, so that's a very inappropriate time to ask. Second of all, I'm recording myself right now, so even makes it worse, okay? Example, f of x. Write this one down, f of x is equal to, let's do x squared minus, minus 7. X squared minus 7. So the first thing I want to do is I want to have you calculate f of, let's do negative 3. What is f of negative 3? What are you going to do?
Negative 3 squared.
Yep, negative 3 squared. Make sure when you replace x with a negative 3, what are you going to do to the negative 3?
Parentheses.
Put it in parentheses. So you're going to have negative 3 squared minus 7. What is negative 3 squared? It's 9. Minus 7 is 2. So you have 9 minus 7. Yeah, what?
Why did you parenthesize 3?
Because if you don't parenthesize, I like your words. You don't parenthesize your -3. If you type this into your calculator, you do -3 squared. The only thing that the calculator does is square the 3. Squares the 3, you get 9, and then it takes the opposite answer. It's not that it's doing it wrong, it's because you have to type it in right. You put garbage into the calculator, it gives you garbage out, yeah? So if you type this in, it's going to give you -9. The squares the 3 takes the opposite answer. But if you do this, you are telling the calculator to actually square -3, not to square 3. So you take -3 squared, that means -3 times -3, which is 9. -3 squared is equal to 9. Okay? Whenever you have a negative, especially if you are squaring it, you've got to make sure that you put it in parentheses. Alright, what about this? What about f of, let's do f of a. What's f of a?
X squared plus 7.
Replace a with a, replace x with an a, so you have a squared minus 7. What about this? F of, let's do 2t. F of 2t. Replace x with a what? 2t. 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 You're going to have 2t squared minus 7. What is 2t squared? 4t squared. In other words, you have to square both the 4 and the t. Both of those things are being squared. The 2 and the 2 and the t. Square the 2, square the t, you get 4t squared. And of course you have your minus 7 at the end. Alright, a little bit harder one. Here we go. What about this? What is f of x minus 3? What am I going to do there?
Don't you go there? Go foil.
What do you have to do?
That foil.
Yeah, well first of all, you're going to rewrite it, and you're going to replace the x with a x minus 3. So I rewrite the original equation, x minus 3 squared minus 7. Do not, because I know some of you still do this, and you should not, because you have been doing this for long enough now that you should not be making this mistake. But when you take x minus 3 squared, that means x minus 3 times x minus 3, and then of course you have that minus 7 at the end. You have to FOIL this. When you FOIL this, you're going to take the first times the first times the last, in other words, the outside terms, then you multiply the two inside terms, and then you multiply the last terms. So help me out. What is x times x?
X squared.
Squared, you multiply the outside. X times -3, that gets you -3x. You multiply the inside terms, you get -3x. You multiply the last terms, you get a positive 9. What else do I need to do? Minus 7. Now collect like terms. So you're going to have an x squared. Does that -3x and -3x, do they cancel each other out? No, you combine them. If you have a -3x and you subtract 3 more x's, that means you have a -6x. And then what do you have at the end? Positive 9 and a -7 gets you a positive 2. Alright. One more example. Do this, please. Let's do f of m squared. F of m squared. What do you do? Replace x with x squared. M squared. Sorry, my bad. So you replace the x with an m squared, but what do I need to do to that? Square that. M squared, squared. Then you subtract 7. What is m squared squared?
And to the fourth.
To the
To the 4th. How'd you get a 4? How'd you get a 4th power?
Multiply.
Yeah, what do you do to these two x?
You add.
You actually multiply them. Now in this case, it didn't matter, because regardless if you add or you multiply, you're still going to get 4. But you need to remember that. These two powers, when they're written like this, always have to be multiplied. So it's m to the 4th minus 7.